What's blooming, rosebuds? And welcome back to another episode of City Gardening with Mike the Farmer. Today we'll be discussing winterizing your garden by pruning and mulching. But before we get started, as usual, like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell, and anytime I upload any new content, you'll be the first to know. And if you're a new viewer, thanks for stopping by. Take a seat and join the party. First thing I'm going to start doing is slowly start removing all of my potted plants that I have throughout my yard. I have multiple different variety plants in the yard, multiple sizes, so I'm just going to start taking them out one by one, clearing out the necessary space that I need in my yard to get directly to all of the plants that I need to prune throughout the yard. The good thing is, a lot of these plants left behind a lot of the mulch that you'll need to winterize your garden as well. Mulch is usually a vital source of nutrients and protection that you want for your yard that we typically lay down throughout the winter months. It protects your soil from breakdown throughout the seasons and also protects all of the nutrients that you've built up throughout the growing season. Mulch is usually made up of brown and greens, typically from your branches, your stems, leaves, and things from all of the trees and branches growing around. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through all my potted plants and start breaking off any of the old stems and foliage that I have in my plants. Be mindful though, if you have any stems throughout these pots where they still have some life in them, they're still bendable and pliable, leave those be. If they still have life in them and you disturb them, you may kill off your plant or disrupt the growth in your new growing season. So really focus on any of your dead branches or ones that are easy to break. I've also created a compost pile where you see me tossing some of my branches, where I'm creating a natural compost pile in my yard that will break down over time and will be a vital source of nutrients to my yard that I can just add directly to it over time once necessary. So all of these branches, stems, leaves that I break off, don't throw them in the trash. Those are vital nutrients that you'll use for your yard later. They're not trash. They're actually a benefit to your garden. So create a compost pile. I'll be creating a compost video, so be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, I'm going to continue to go around. Just going to clear that out, add it to my compost pile. Really being mindful for any new growth on my plants or any pliable stems. I'm in zone 7B, which is in the northeast Philadelphia, PA. And in this area, it gets typically cold around mid-November. You really don't want to start pruning your plants or pruning in your garden until you have freezing temperatures at night, because it ensures that your plant is dormant versus still being alive. And as you can see, I still have a lot of old strawberry plants that have been grown in this yard, and I'm just going to pull those right on out. I'm not really too concerned about disrupting those, because many more will grow back in the new growing season. And I'll add that to my compost pile as well. But yeah, in the northeast, we have what they call an Indian summer. Indian summer is when you have a mild fall going into your winter, and it was pretty mild here in Philly. What happens is it confuses nature, and it causes nature to come out of dormancy thinking that spring is near, and your plants will start to develop new buds and start to grow, which can be harsh on your plants. Because sometimes if your plant starts to grow back earlier than normal and it's still cold, and then a frost comes back, it will disrupt how your plants grow in that new growing season. Now I will say, when I was out here today, it was pretty cold when I was pruning, so I had to take some moments, and you'll see throughout the window, I had to take some moments to keep myself warm because it was about 25 degrees. Alright, so now I'm going to take my garden loppers, sterilized with alcohol, and I'm going to go around and start gently pruning off my sage plant. I'm going to go around stem by stem, trimming off any of the dead foliage that I have, and being mindful for any new growth on the plant. Along with pruning the plant, I'm going to try to reshape how the plant is growing. This sage was doing well in my front of my yard, so it was growing outwards in a way you really want your bushes and shrubs to grow. But what was continuing to happen was it was preventing me from having any growth space next to the plant. It was disrupting a lot of the plants that were growing around it. So instead of it being a benefit, it was actually harming my garden. So now I'm just going to create a new shape for the plant, going around stem by stem, so that when it grows back in a new season, it will allow me to not only have more growing space, but allow for the plant to grow in its full form in the way it should. Now remember, when you're pruning any of your plants or shrubs or bushes, always cut on an angle. Do not cut straight across. Cutting straight across will send out a signal to your plant to stop growth to that part of the plant. So cut on the angle only, and always sterilize any of the tools that you use with either alcohol or bleach water. As you can see, I'm taking a little break because it was cold. But now I'm just going to go right on back into the plant, stem by stem, branch by branch, trimming back any of that old foliage that was on the plant and create a new shape for my spring, summer growing season. Now this is what the plant looks like once it's been completely pruned back. And it looks like I've cut off a lot of the plant because I really did, but trust and believe, sage grows back quick and it grows back full, so that plant will look a lot fuller once the growing season comes in. Now we're going to start focusing on the hydrangea. We're going to start using some of the same methods that we use in our sage, going branch by branch, cutting on the angle only, and watching for any new growth on the plant. On my hydrangea, what started to happen was new buds were starting to form because of the warm temperatures, and I want to avoid cutting any of the new buds forming or growing on any of the branches throughout the plant. I'm going to add or insert a part of the video where I can give you a closer look at what that looks like on the plant. Anytime you see any new growth or new buds growing on the stems, you want to cut the plant right before the new bud, which will allow the plant to continue to grow out and allow for your new bud to grow once the growing season starts. Now let's get into cutting on an angle versus cutting straight across. When you cut straight across on a plant, it signals to your plant and the plant's roots that you want the plant to stop growing in this space or you don't want it to continue to grow. Versus if you cut a plant on an angle, it stimulates new growth and tells the plant to continue on growing or produce new foliage in that area that you cut. Also, if you cut straight on a plant, if it rains throughout the day or throughout the week, the water will settle on the top of where you cut that plant. This produces disease on your plant and will kill off your plant. Whereas if you cut the plant on an angle, the water will drop right on off of the plant, roll right on off, and you will prevent your plant from getting any disease throughout your growing season. So cut on an angle always versus cutting straight across. Okay, rosebuds, now that I've completed all of my pruning, all of my mulching around my garden, I'm just going to slowly start taking all of my potted plants, putting them back in place, and my garden is done. I've done everything I needed to do to prep for the winter, protect my soil, protect my garden as well, so that when spring and summer hits, my garden will be in full bloom. Now I'm going to insert some visuals of what my garden looks like in dormancy in winter, and how it looks when it's in full bloom in spring and summer. Isn't it beautiful? This is surely what I want to achieve year after year, and with yearly maintenance and pruning, you're sure to have nice full blooms in your garden year after year. Now I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you. If you have any more questions that you want answered, definitely comment in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer any and all questions that you have. Be sure to check back for my next video where we'll be covering plant starts. We'll be adding seeds for the new growing season, and I'll show you how to do that step by step from start to finish. Thank you for watching my video and coming back to my channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget, before you leave, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so that way anytime I upload any new content, you'll be the first to know. And as always, love yourself, love each other, and keep growing for a better tomorrow. See ya.